All right, welcome everybody. Hello, hello. We are live again. It is Tuesday night. Thank you everybody for being with me. We're going to go ahead and kick on with another weekly study grind today. And as you will have seen if you caught the email that I sent out setting up the topic for today, today's topic is going to be me trying to fix what I believe is a weakness in my game. So we're going to be looking at a specific type of spot, and I'm going to switch over to my Octopi view right now just so you guys can see what I'm looking at. And this is what it's going to be. We're going to be looking at this specific setup where, hey, Broden Traveler, welcome, Seth. How's it going, buddy? We're going to be looking at 20 and 25 big blinds here. So short stacked, big blind defend, post-flop situations. These are tough spots. These are difficult situations that I have not studied a ton lately and probably will make some mistakes in. So this is going to be a fun one for you guys if you enjoy seeing me get slightly wrecked. So that's going to be fun. So let's dive in. Tom, welcome. Good to have you with us. Thanks for being here. We're going to dive into these spots in just a second. So to Hostito, yeah, absolutely. If you go to pokerfluency.com, you can go and get yourself on the email list there. Whenever I have, live streams coming up, anything that goes on. Well, you guys, if you're not on the email list, yeah, I didn't know if you guys were on or not yet, but yeah, if you want to go to pokerfluency.com, you can get yourself on the email list there. All you have to do is if you go to the section where it says free training. There's going to be, first of all, there's going to be a standard area where you enter your email and everything. And there's also a video that you're going to get for that, which is an unlisted video from my YouTube that it's called 50 Reasons Your Poker Game Isn't Improving. So hopefully that's going to be useful for you guys. And of course, you're going to get on the email list as a result. So that's bonus for both of us. Nice. So we're going to start with this spot that we have here. Obviously, low SPR. We are 20 bigs deep. This is big blind cutoff, so we're defending against a pretty wide range. And, oh, by the way, obviously, if there's anything that you guys can't see from the screen here, anything that's like obscured by my graphics or anything like that, just let me know, and we can clear it up and I can fix my OBS and stuff. But otherwise, we should be good. So, first spot, 10-9 off. We're going to clearly check the big blind. We're not going to have donks on this board. This is immediately a little bit of an annoying spot because we are up against a very wide range. We wouldn't often defend an offsuit 10 high here, especially if we were deeper. I think there is some possibility that we defended at this stack size. This is already a spot where I think there's at least some chance that I punt here. I'm going to fold, but I'm not sure if that's correct. Oh, it is fold. Okay, so it's pure fold. Wow, interesting. So we actually, this is already a crazy spot that I would have got wrong. We're actually playing pure raise or fold for the most part here. We're not really doing any calling. And we do pure raise Jack 10 off, which is quite interesting. But we don't raise 10-9 off. So I was fine with folding this one, but there are certainly some hands, some defends that I would have missed. I would have missed like the Jack 7, Jack 6 type stuff. I would have missed probably some of the King 3, King Deuce. And I would not have played just raise or fold here. So really interesting spot against these wide late position opens already. So did not make a mistake there, but I would have with certain hands. Pure checking this flop again. King 8 here. King 8 here on Jack 9-5. This is an easy one. We're just going to fold. So that one is a bit of a freebie. Ace 9. They're giving me a lot of late position spots here, which is fine. Ace 9 on King 10-6. I think with no backdoor, we probably fold. Ooh, there is a little bit of call in there. There's a little bit of mixing call. So we're trying to kind of defend pretty aggressively there, or try to make sure that we don't overfold too dramatically. Pure raise or fold, yeah. I mean, paired boards is certainly the spots where that tends to occur. So, when it is a paired board in this kind of formation, you are going to see that coming up sometimes. I wasn't necessarily sure that would be one, but it does make sense that it was. We folded the ace-9 and just about get away with one there. Okay, so this one is one where we are not going to fold. Can't really see any raise here. I think there's like a possibility that we mix a low frequency of raise. I'm not playing with RNG turned on, so I'm just going to hit call. Oh, it's pure call. Okay, so we don't raise any king 10 here. We do raise, do we ever raise a 9? We do, oh, we don't raise 9-10, I mean. We do raise a little bit of 9-7, 9-6. So some stuff in there that has like a 9 with a low kicker occasionally, but not really a lot of it. We turn a 10. This is probably just going to be check shove all in, I would think. Let's do it. Ooh, slight mistake. Interesting. Okay. I would have thought that the all-in was good. It's not that likely that we're supposed to like make this weird click back raise. We probably just call then. Okay, it's pure call. Interesting. Okay, so 2-pair here is pure call, or at least 10-9 is pure call. King 8, King 9, those are mostly jamming. Some other King X is jamming. Interesting. All right, so not a great check jam. I thought it would be a little bit better than that. So already we are making some slight errors. I'm going to check this river. Don't see any reason to lead it. I don't think we can fold. This sucks, but we have really good blockers. And even though we got counterfeited, I think we probably call. Okay, yeah, 80% call. So really kind of tough to fold here. It is mixing. Just call and rip river. Call and rip river wouldn't be great there because there's not really a lot of rivers that we can easily rip in terms of them being good for our range or good enough for our range that we get to just like donk shove the river. That's not going to happen very often. Mostly just going to play it as a check call on a lot of rivers there. Obviously, there are going to be some bad rivers, but that one's not bad enough. This is probably going to be a raise. We're against button. We have a very vulnerable pair, bottom pair, or I guess 2-pair, as you would probably call it here. But I think this is probably going to be small raise a lot. Yeah, okay. Basically, yeah, high frequency, small raise. This is another one that's close to raise or fold. Do we raise higher 2-pair on the turn? Yeah, we did raise King 9, King 8, that sort of stuff on the turn a lot there with double flush draw. So I was not, I mean, it was a 0.3% mistake, like not a huge error, but yeah. Okay, so this one is, ooh, okay, we're up against under the gun 7 here. This is going to be an awkward one. Okay, we face B66. I expect we play some jams here on this board at this SPR, and I think this hand might be one of them. Already, they're giving me tough spots, man. They're giving me so many tough spots. I think we would be more inclined to jam with like an 8 with a low kicker, but I'm going to hit call. I'm not sure about it, though. Oh, okay, it's pure call. All right, well, that's fine. An 8 with a lower kicker. Yeah, okay, so we do jam like 8-6, 8-5, 8-4, some of that stuff. We also jam a 7 occasionally, which is quite surprising. Yeah, these are definitely weird spots. Like I say, there's definitely some mistakes that I'm probably going to be making here. We check this turn. We face 6.4. We can't fold, but I just don't know if we're supposed to. Yeah, maybe we're supposed to just get it in here. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of spots here. Like these SPRs are weird, man. Like when you face like the sort of bet that looks like they're kind of committing to all in, but not really. There's definitely some weird stuff that goes on. Like we're supposed to take like a deuce and just be all in sometimes. They're supposed to take like an 8 and be all in a lot, a 7 quite a lot. There's a lot of check jamming. There's some really weird strategies that we're supposed to employ here when they bet like almost half of the effective stack on the turn there. It's definitely pretty tricky, but we did do okay on that one. Ace Jack, definitely going to check this board. They really love to make it difficult for you, don't they? If we faced a small bet, we would absolutely call here. I think we still call. Ooh, okay, mix. It's a mix. All right, so we do. Ace Jack is a little awkward here, but we have just enough equity to call. Turn top pair, top kicker, so that makes it a little bit easier for us. And we just snap it off. And we win. Nice. All right. All right, so ace 6, ace 10 3 against cutoff. We face big bet. This could be a small raise. This could be like some clickbacks. We don't have a lot of ace X here at all. This is one of the few that we do have. So Matt in the chat said fold. I'm not sure which hand you were referring to. I'm assuming you weren't. I'm assuming you were referring to ace jack on the flop, the previous hand. But I think I want to go small raise here. I'm not sure about it. Oh wow. Okay, we mix small raise and jam. So actually prefers just to check jam. We do jam and ace fairly often here. This is kind of funny. Yeah, the ace jack off. Okay, cool. I guess we just jam. I mean, I think, yeah, okay, we kind of mix. Like, it doesn't really even matter here. Like, this is just too weird of a spot, so just kind of move on. Okay, this is trivial. Just gave us a nice, easy fold. Nice and easy. This one's going to be a nice, easy fold too. Okay. Ace 9 on Jack 10 7. Okay. This one we probably won't end up folding. I missed it, I think, but these post-flop spots are assuming a limp check or raise call. This is raise from any other position and big blind defend. So we defend in the big blind, and we're either 20 or 25 big blinds effective to start the hand. So we're pretty shallow, and these spots are tough, like I've said. I think this one we're going to just check call. I don't see us raising ace 9 a lot. Yeah. Okay, so small amount of raising there, but not a lot. Turn deuce of hearts. Face a bet. Probably just fold now. Yeah, okay. Pure fold. That's good. Does villain ever check back flop in which set? Oh, I guess you just mean like in general in this game tree. They do. It's just they haven't yet in any of these spots. We've just been kind of running running good or running bad. I don't know what you'd call it. But yeah, I mean, they certainly have a range advantage in a lot of flop spots. So they are certainly going to do very limited amounts of checking back. But it will happen sometimes. There we go. It happened. There you go. Right on cue. The universe delivers us a check back. I don't think we're going to bluff this hand. We're just going to check. Pretty much not going to be able to bluff 8 high here very often. Well, on the turn at least. On river, we have... I think this is low down enough in range to bet. I think I'm going to bet 4.1. Yeah, okay, so we do... Yeah, okay, we mix bluffs. We don't really do a lot of the 4.1. It's a little bit more of a small bet or overbet kind of situation, but mostly just small bet. But this hand is a reasonable bluff, 8 deuce, you know, one of our weaker hands. We do bluff a decent chunk of 8 high there, although not a ton. Probably a little bit aggressive there, but not a huge deal. King 5 off, probably just going to check fold here. Yep, 100% fold. That's all good. Queen 10 offsuit. Okay, we're going to check and probably raise here. No diamond is good for raising. Big size is probably decent for raising. I'm going to hit 5.5. Yes, okay, nice. All right, so we did get the raise. We raised most top pair here. We don't do a lot of calling with top pair at this SPR, just kind of really looking for a lot of equity denial there. You will find a lot of these board textures sort of 10 high or lower where top pair is a little bit more vulnerable. We're going to do a lot more raising there, so we did pick up on the right size, 50% raise size. Turn 4, we might just shove here, but I'm not convinced about it. I feel like villain has a lot of hands here that would have too easy of a spot if we just shove. I just feel like shoving might not be the way to go. This is a bit weird, but I think the 8.3 might be good. Yes. All right. We nailed it. Okay. So there is a shove. There is quite a lot of shoving. Shoving would have been fine. We actually do quite a bit of shoving here for pot with a lot of our 10x, but we also use the 50% size fairly often here as well. Now, this is kind of a fun one. We actually have the option for, believe it or not, the 10% of pot almost min bet on the river here. We have less than 1/3 pot behind. We have like 30% pot behind. I think we're just going to shove, but yeah, I mean, we do actually use the 10% a little bit here with certain hands, like with like 9-8, like some 8x type stuff, just kind of blocks on the river. It's kind of funny, but yeah, we shove queen 10, we get called by 9s. That's nice. This one's going to be a check fold. So we're doing okay so far. I haven't made any blunders. Like, I've made 2 EV mistakes in, what is it, 46 decisions. So I don't think that's too bad. I'm going to try to get through maybe 100, 150 decisions in this session, and we'll see if we can keep that record up of no blunders. If I can do no blunders, then I'll be pretty happy with myself coming out of this. Small bet, probably just calling with a king here, even though we have the king of spades. Okay, 1% of raising, but we'll ignore that. Spade turn is good. Really good turn, actually. Check, check. Okay, we river the nuts. I suspect... I mean, we rivered the nuts, so I suspect we probably just jam here. This just happens a lot. Like, when you have the nuts, you're just supposed to jam the river in plenty of spots like this, so pretty tough to imagine it being a mistake. Yeah, I mean, it's not like high frequency, but you can see a lot of this. Let me just load up the sim. A lot of this king of spades is jamming river, like king jack, king 10. Like, let's look at when we specifically have the king of spades or the 3 of clubs. I mean, the king of spades is a 5-3 is the nuts. You're right. That's technically true. The king of spades is a super high frequency card for us to jam the river with, obviously, because we do have that nut flush, or essentially the nut flush. And in terms of bluffs, like, this is obviously a really tricky spot to pick the bluffs, but it looks like low pair, basically 4x, is the region that we're bluffing with. A little bit of like 5 deuce, 3 deuce in there, but pretty much picking bluffs from the one pair that can't win. Quite interesting there. So that one worked out well. Next one, big blind. Oh, well, we're all in the big blind here. Queen 7 off. I think even with a spade, I think we fold here. I don't think we can defend queen high offsuit. It seems fine. Ace 7 off. Against under the gun, I don't imagine that we play raise or fold here. I would be surprised if we do. So I just got to organize my chair. I imagine we play some calls, so let's call. Ooh, okay. We actually do play mostly raise or fold. We play a little bit of call, but not a significant amount. That's quite interesting. I am a little surprised by that, but that's okay. It's going to be a weird line now because we're not taking this call line at a high frequency. It's just going to be a fold, though. Yep, okay, all good. Ooh, monotone flop. We flop middle pair with a heart. All right, let's see what we do here. Check, small bet. I believe we can't do anything except call. Yep, pure call. Small amount of raising, not a ton. Mostly just 2 pair and some flushes and some 4x or straight draws. No reason to lead the turn, I don't think. No reason to fold here against half pot. River 9. This is annoying. We have a hand that will probably serve as an okay bluff catcher, but I would imagine we fold here. I think it's tempting. It's always tempting to be like, oh, I have a heart in my hand and a blocker. Like, I have some kind of blocker I should call. But I think it's just important to note in these spots that we have so many better hands to call. And if you do call with like a queen with a heart here, then you're kind of calling with a hand that's pretty low down in your range. And you are facing full pot here. So you're not, or like slightly over pot. So you don't have to call any more than about something like 48% of your range. You don't really have to call like 70% or something. So I think we can fold. Yeah, it's pure fold. 42% of this is actually how often we're calling. And we're actually folding an ace sometimes here. We're folding ace 10 suited. Ace X is pretty indifferent. we're basically never calling with just a queen. So that's nice and easy, pretty simple. So we did okay there. So again, we've gotten away with no blunders so far. 60 decisions, all good so far. King deuce off. Okay. All right, so it did go check on 9-4-3, which I would not expect to happen that often, but it did happen. This is one where I'm trying to think about what am I targeting on turn. I think we are up against a range that features enough overcards that we are probably going to be able to be decently aggressive on the turn. I think I'm leaning towards like the half pot because this is a reasonable bluff candidate. I'm going to go half pot. Ooh, 0.1% mistake again. All right, so if half pot is a marginal mistake, that probably implies to me that this hand is a reasonable bet. It's just not for that size. Let's try 75. Think we could be right. We are right. Oh, wow. We're only barely right. It's actually more of a full pot bet. It's actually a bigger bet, kind of a geometric size that we want to go with there. I didn't really think we'd be going that big that often, but it is a mix of sizes, so it's not a huge error there by any means. We get to the river. We make the straight on a river ace. I'm actually not sure after this line what the best river option is. I know I said before, like, oh, you make the nuts, you just shove. But I think this is a situation where it wouldn't... Well, no. I mean, we do have a huge nut advantage. Like, we have a bunch of deuce X, and he just never has a deuce. Like, I guess we probably just shove. Let's just shove. Yeah, I don't want to overthink it. Like, you just shove with a deuce and bluff with a 6. Shove with 7-6. So yeah, I almost overthought it and went small, but I guess we came to the right decision in the end. Flop bottom 2 here. This one's going to be a raise. I don't imagine anything other than a raise here. Oh, wow. Okay. That is surprising. I thought that 2-pair would be one of the hands that has the highest incentive to raise here, but I guess we're kind of at the point where we're already raising enough 10x that we don't even really need to raise our 2-pair for protection. We're kind of a little bit more, or we're almost like trapping, 2-pair here because we don't have a set to trap with. I guess we're trapping with 2-pair. That kind of makes sense. We're also calling 10-4 and 10-5. So yeah, I guess that's what's happening. We're kind of calling with our 2-pair hands. All right, we're going to check this turn. He's going to shove. We're going to snap. Boom. We win. All right. Nice. This one is going to be a check fold, especially to the bigger bet. Nice and easy. This one is definitely going to be a check fold. About the easiest check fold of all time. Ooh, okay. This one should be tricky. 10, 8, 7. We face small bet. It would not shock me at all if there's some raising here. This is one of these ones where you can kind of game the spot a little bit when you're not using the RNG, because I think it's unlikely. Call is basically never going to be it's almost impossible for call to be a mistake here. It's very unlikely that it's a pure raise, but a raise could be a mistake because it could be pure call. So I'm just going to hit call. Oh, okay. It is mixing some raise. Okay. Interesting. Probably mixing more raise than I thought. I thought it would be maybe like 20% raise, but okay. So turn 8, we probably will do some donking here as far as range goes. The reason being that we do have an 8x advantage. The only thing that I would say is when we get to these shallower stack sizes, the fact that we have more 8x than under the gun 7 here doesn't count for as much, because you don't really need to have an 8 in order to stack off here at this lower SPR. So I think we probably will donk some here. I'm going to check this hand because I don't love a 7 donking. Oh, wow. Okay, so we donk this hand a lot, actually. I was wrong. Because we have the 9, we donk more. We don't donk a 7 very much in general. We don't donk ace 7, king 7 very much. But we do specifically donk 9-7. It's the most common 7 for us to donk. Interesting. Don't think we're going to raise here. I think we're just going to call. Oh, a little bit of raising. Interesting. All right. Well, river 4, I'm going to check, and he just checks back. Okay, cool. So that worked out okay. This is going to be a check fold. I think it can be easy to overthink sometimes and just not check fold in spots where you just should check fold. This is super annoying, but I don't think we can fold. Yeah, I mean, we can't fold a pair here. Like, there are some spots where we do occasionally fold a pair, even to a small bet on a monotone board, but it's less common in a situation where the ranges are super wide like this, so I just wouldn't fold a 3 here even. Turn is a heart. There might be some donking here. Probably not with this hand. Let's see. Wow, there's quite a lot of donking. In fact, there is donking with this hand, and this is another part of these short stack big blind scenarios that is very underrated or underappreciated, that we actually do have quite a lot of donks in spots exactly like this. Let me show you the runouts readout here for this specific spot. So take a look, right? These are the different turns and how much we're leading on, different cards. If we sort by suit and then by rank, you can see that on this turn card, the Ace of Hearts is one of the turns. In fact, it's the only turn where we lead relatively big. But in terms of turns that we do lead an 8, a 7, a 6, a 5 relatively often here. We don't actually lead that often on another heart, except for the ace. That's quite interesting. There are going to be other spots, 4 flush spots, where we do lead a bit more. Never donk a 4th card of the suit, sometimes a 3rd card. Yeah, I mean, it is rare that a 4th card that we can donk, just because quite often we're dealing with a pre-flop razor range that has quite a lot of offsuit stuff in it. But depending on what the actual betting range on the flop is going to look like, sometimes we are going to have just a pretty condensed range for calling the flop bet ourselves. And that's going to mean that we do have a bit of an advantage in terms of flushes here. Like if you look at this spot, we have a flush 45% of the time on this turn card, just because of the nature of the range that we're check calling with. And they have a flush, let's see, 30%, right? So we have a flush 50% more often than they do. And we can, excuse me, we can put a lot of their hands in a tough spot here by donking on this turn card. And that's kind of why it's happening. So donking on a 3rd card, it can be a thing. Again, it requires you to have an advantage in flushes. It requires a situation where you have more flushes than they do. And that can happen, of course, but it doesn't happen as commonly as we might want it to. Oh, wow, okay. That is weird. All right, I just like absent-mindedly just said, okay, I have 3rd pair on a 4 flush board. I guess I have to fold, and it's a mistake. It's a 0.7% mistake. I observe that generally a 3rd card of a suit favors a preflop caller, 4th favors a preflop aggressor. Yeah, I mean, that can happen sometimes. If your opponent is making good flop decisions, then they're going to still have kind of the right distribution of flushes on the turn. But sometimes, especially when they're making, they're betting the wrong types of hands on the flop, it's going to give us more of an advantage on turn sometimes. So Tom, I saw you had a question there, and it looks like I think you posted a question and deleted it, or did you want to? Is there something you wanted to like ask about or discuss? If you want to repost that, that'd be totally fine. We can talk about that, whatever it was. So yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we're not supposed to fold this, right? Like this is the biggest mistake I've made so far. So I would we be donking lower hearts? No, from the runouts that I just saw, the lower hearts were not. This basically was the only heart that we were donking. Okay, so I know that I cannot fold a 6 here, apparently. Can I raise it? Should I raise it? Probably not. But we were betting fairly often here, so if we're betting with this hand, like that indicates that it might also be a decent bluff raising hand, because usually our betting range and our raising range are going to have a lot in common. This might be a punt, but I'm going to call. Ooh, it's low frequency call, tiny frequency call. In fact, this is like, okay, that's so dumb. This is like the exact hand. This is the only hand other than deuce 3 suited, which is like a high frequency bluff raise here. We basically don't really donk anything else. Probably because button opens all offsuit ace-x and ace of hearts blocks those hands. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of a lot of what's going to happen for sure. Okay, so we did check call. Probably just checking river. We actually are supposed to have some... Wow. We're supposed to lead this river with this hand as well. This is a crazy board run out. We got very lucky not to make a blunder in this hand because we got dealt some weird spots. We're supposed to like raise flop, donk turn, you know, all this sort of stuff. Very weird. All right, ace jack 5. This should be a little bit more straightforward. Ace 10. I think I like raising the small size here, although this hand could be a check call. Not 100% on this. Oh, 0.4% mistake. Okay. It could be either a call or a jam. I'm going to call. Yeah, okay. We're kind of trapping a little bit here. Like, this is a strong enough hand to call. We do have some jams, but ace 10 is sort of close. This is probably a pretty good donk card because we do have a lot of jack X in our range after we check call. If we look at our check calling range right here, we are occasionally folding a jack on the flop, which is surprising to this size, but we do have enough jack X that I think we can donk sometimes here. Let's donk small. Yeah, high frequency small donk. That seems good. And then this now kind of sucks because we just got counterfeited and we can no longer really get any kind of significant amount of value from anything. I kind of want to like seldom raise ace-x after hitting an ace against preflop aggressor. Yeah, I mean, that's reasonable. So yeah, I kind of want to donk small. Let's go donk small. Yeah, all right. We found the 10% donk off. We found the 10% river lead here. It is mostly a shove with a lot of hands, but with an ace, we don't have a lot of incentive to shove. We just bet the tiny size or check. So what's your thought process on turn strategy after check raising flop? Good question. I think for the most part, it's going to really come down to the extent to which the turn card changes the board, because most of the time, if you check raise and the turn card is a brick, usually what's going to happen is your check raising range is going to contain a lot more nut hands than the range that they continue with. So you're going to have a nut advantage, which means you tend to bet really big. You tend to go with geometric sizes, big sizes on turns. If the turn does change the board, then quite often we're going to go with some smaller sizes, either because we actually picked up a range advantage if the turn completes a draw, or simply because maybe our nut advantage is reduced. So the main thing is going to be to sort of figure out, based on the board texture and how much it did or didn't change, what level of polarization are we going to have in our strategy? How much big betting are we going to be doing? And from there, we're going to just kind of build our approach based on, are we going with a big size and a very polar range, or are we going with a smaller size and we're able to bluff with a more diverse range? But generally, we're going to be very equity driven from out of position. We're going to be pretty linear with how we select our bluffs. We're not really going to barrel turn with anything that just has no real equity at all. We're going to kind of rely on, if we do check raise a well-rounded range on the flop, we're going to have plenty of hands in our range that can pick up equity on, you know, any turn card. On any turn card, we're going to have hands that pick up equity and hands that don't. And so we're going to continue when we pick up equity and not continue when we don't, right? And when we run into trouble, a lot of it is going to be when we check raise a completely imbalanced range and we end up getting to the turn with, you know, a range that's like only flush draws and value, or, you know, a range that's only straight draws and value, or so on, right? So it all really, a lot of it comes down to how the turn card changes the board and what that's going to do for our overall range and how the advantages are going to shift there on the turn. Hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if that kind of clears things up a little bit. In future sessions, I can go through some of the processes that I think are the most useful, or the sort of breakdown that I use for how to build strategies on a particular street. And we can discuss that in some more detail. So where are we at? We've got 93, no blunders. Cool. Glad that helps, Tom. Excellent. All right, so King 8 next spot. Let's go check, and ooh, this could be a raise. I think, sorry, this chair is super uncomfortable today for some reason, but that's fine. I think I want to raise. I think I'm going to go 3.9. Yeah, all right, we do raise this hand quite a lot. King 8, just about strong enough. This is a pretty decent turn card, but I don't feel like a lot of our weaker top pair or like mediocre top pair like this is going to have a huge incentive to barrel. I imagine if we do bet here, we probably go with the 6.6 or the 9.9. I mean, in practice, I would probably like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of, I guess 6.6 is a good size. I was going to say maybe I would go like 8 or something, like right in the middle, but I think 6.6 is probably fine. I think I'm going to check. I think I like a check here. Oh, okay, so it's mixing all three. 6.6 is probably the best size here, but we can do some 75 as well. King X is, yeah, okay, so King X is mostly betting, but there's a little bit of check in there too. We may check raise here. We may do some check raising. If our hand is mostly betting on the turn and we choose not to bet, then there's a pretty decent chance we're going to raise it. Let's shove. Let's see. This might be a punt. No, it's not a punt. Okay, so we always raise here. In fact, calling would have been quite a reasonable size mistake. So that's a good rule of thumb to think about there, is that if we're kind of close between betting and checking on the turn, and then we decide to check, then we probably should also be close between raising and calling, because generally that's going to line up relatively well. So we did okay there. Okay, so we flopped 2 pair here on Jack 7 deuce. This one is okay. So taking forward the heuristic from the 10-5-4 flop that we saw earlier on, we saw 5-4 doing a lot of check calling. Like we saw that 2 pair was pretty happy to play fairly trappy, and that because we don't have sets in this formation at this depth, we kind of need to protect our range with 2 pairs. So I'm going to go call. Yeah, okay, pure call. All right, so we correctly figured out that heuristic from earlier on, right? We correctly identified that heuristic that has now helped us in this spot. Not only that, but we also turn a deuce. Now, it's very plausible we could have some donks here, because the deuce is a pretty good card for us in terms of us being able to have a deuce more than they can. But it's also very relevant that the SPR is low enough that we're still going to get stacks in even if we don't donk the turn. So it might be okay not to. I feel like, okay, so one of the other factors here that's very relevant is that not only do we have a deuce, but we have a deuce that blocks top pair. So 7 deuce suited is raising and Jack 7 suited is mixing. Okay, so I didn't actually see that. Let me check that. 7 deuce, yeah, 7 deuce is raising. Okay, so Jack deuce being a check call is kind of a little bit of an outlier. All right, so I didn't see that, but yeah, we did. I mean, we did okay with the check call at least. So probably not doing too badly. I'm gonna check here because we blocked that top pair. So yeah, okay, that's a great. So I kind of nailed it there. I'm going to blow my own horn here. We do a lot of donking here, or we do quite a good amount of donking, but we don't donk this specific hand because we block top pair. Jack deuce, ace deuce, both checking, pure, whereas most of the other deuce hands are pure donking. So that's interesting. We're going to call here. Pretty much just going to protect that range. Going to check and obviously snap it off. And we win against Jack 10. Nice. All right. So that was, we've gone through 100 decisions now. We've got 103 decisions, 98 perfect, 5 EV mistakes, and 0 blunders. So pretty happy with myself so far. Let's go for, what do we got? 640. Let's go for a little bit longer. Let's see if we can get to 150 decisions. We're going to check call with a 10 here. I'm going to check the turn. This is probably a fold now. It's kind of annoying to fold a 10. Oh, okay, it's a mix. Yeah, that's more calling than I would have thought with a 10, but I guess we just have to defend our range there. Smash this session. Kinda. I did pretty well. I'm doing better than I thought I would. I truly am doing much better than I thought I would here, but it's a little bit of an example of how if you understand the principles, then even if you haven't, like I promise I haven't trained this spot in a long time, even if you haven't done it for a while, you can start to at least not punt, you know, like you can avoid punting. We're going to check. This is kind of annoying. We are against low jack. I think against later position, this might even be a call, but I think against low jack, we just fold. Yeah, okay, it is pure fold. We do call like queen 9, but probably with a diamond only. Jack 10 with a diamond. So yeah, I think with a diamond, we probably would have continued. Check, cut off bets. We're going to most likely just pure call this hand, I think, here. Middle pair versus small bet. Usually just going to be a pure call. Seems good. Turn of flush draw is nice. This is an interesting one. I feel like we probably don't raise this one. I think this is a spot where a lot of players would make the mistake of being like, oh, I have a flush draw. I have pair plus flush draw, therefore I'm all in. But I think one of the awkward things about this is if we do check shove all in, I just don't feel like we're ever getting anything better to fold. Like a king is never folding here. And we're also just clearly not getting anything worse to call. So I just feel like this plays much better as a call. Yeah, pure call. Okay, nice. We're good. All right, so this is interesting. We genuinely might have some donk jams here. Because we have a lot of queen X that calls the turn. And he doesn't have that much queen X that bets the turn because a lot of it is really not wanting to face a check jam. This might be... This might be a spot where we risk our first blunder. This could be a spot to make a blunder here, but I really feel like this is probably not a bad spot to have some donk jams. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what are we targeting if we donk jam? Are we targeting, I guess we're targeting, like, the 2 pairs, all of the, you know, the 2 pairs and sets that he still has. We have a decent amount of queen X, but I don't know. I'm second guessing myself now. If we look at the turn strategy, a lot of our queen X is raising. Like queen X of hearts is raising, which is a problem. I think we're going to, yeah, I'm second guessing now because of the fact that queen X is raising, and we actually are quite heavy on just having like a king here a lot, or an ace even. I think I'm just going to check. Okay, so, all right, so it would not have been a huge punt range-wise to have donk jams, because we do have a little bit of donk jamming. So I was not incorrect that we have some. And in fact, our exact hand would be plus 0.01 big blinds as a donk jam. So our exact hand is, in fact, a candidate for donk jamming. But we correctly changed our mind and found a check, and now we just find a fold, I think. Oh, wow. We actually do a little bit of bluff jamming there. That's kind of interesting. And even a tiny shred of calling. That's a very weird spot. But We did correctly chicken out of shoving the river there. That was nice. Okay, check big blind, check call with a queen. Trivial, check turn. This is annoying. These spots, the particular reason why these spots are so annoying is because your kicker doesn't play, or your kicker is very unlikely to play, so you kind of are just like only beating bluffs. You just have a very, very static bluff catcher. I'm going to call because I just don't think we can ever fold a queen here. Like if I look at our range, yeah, when we certainly can't fold a queen. We can't even fold some of our best king highs, like king 10. Check river. Oh, good. I was going to say check river and hope it goes check, check. And that's exactly what happened. So we are happy that it went check, check. All right. King 10 off. This is a nice, good hand for us to have. We face big bet here. I kind of like, what do I like? Do I like check calling? Do I like raising? Kind of like calling. When we face big bet on these boards, we just don't really tend to play a lot of raises because of the fact that our range is just generally very weak. I think I'm just going to call. Oh, 0.5% mistake. That's, yeah, okay. Well, we're clearly not folding. So the question is, what size are we raising to? Are we raising to a shove? Are we raising to small? Kind of feel like we probably shove given the size of the bet in the SPR. So let's shove. Oh, 2% mistake. That's the biggest mistake we've made so far. Okay. Unfortunate. I guess we go small. It's funny because small was like my first instinct. And then I just kind of conditioned myself away from that. Okay, so we called it off. Did we lose to aces? What happened? Yeah, we lost to aces. Wow, what a bad beat. Never mind. Yeah, so we do... What is... Oh, that's villain strategy. Okay, never mind. I was confused. I was like misreading it. But yeah, we actually play... We play a lot... surprising amount of small raises. We don't play any jams there. That's an interesting one. That is not one that I would have found a good strategy there. Feels like the general strategy falls back into the slightly passive check call down. Yeah, absolutely, Seth. I think it is certainly a like a pretty common thing that we just sort of have to defend our range quite a bit here because we have such a wide range and you just can't really defend super aggressively a lot of the time. Oh, that's funny. I kind of absent-mindedly check called middle pair there, but there's actually a surprising amount of raising with it. I did think maybe this would be a raise, but didn't expect this much. Ace turn, we're not going to lead. And where are we at? Okay. This is another annoying one. I think we're just going to fold it. Yeah, we're too low down in our range to continue there. So we're not going to really have to care about continuing overall. This is a good board for our range, but I don't think we're likely to donk it against under the gun 7. We're going to check. He bets big. Kind of like just ripping here because we get so many better king highs to fold. Yeah, okay, it's high frequency shove. Also doing some of the 40% raise. So we're doing a good amount of raising here. We like raising a high card, low card, flush draw, generally a pretty good hand to raise a lot of the time. So we did okay with that one. We're at 131 decisions without a blunder. So pretty good so far. We are pretty content with that. Small bet. This could be... Ugh. Against a later position, I would probably consider raising this. And I actually think there's a decent chance we raise it even against early position. I kind of want to raise. Yeah, I'm going to hit raise. Yeah, okay, we raise like 70% of the time. That's good. And turn is a 6. So we pick up a double gutter. This is awkward because I think a lot of players would just be like, oh, I picked up a double gutter. I'm going to jam here. But I think part of the problem is if we jam, like, nothing better calls. Sorry. Nothing better folds, and nothing worse really calls. I feel like we check. Oh, 2% mistake. Yikes. Okay, another mistake. Well, I guess it probably is a jam then, because I just can't see the 3.7 or the 7.4 making a lot of sense. Oh, 0.7% mistake. Okay. Uh, Probably small then. The 7.4 is a weird size. Okay, it is. Oh, okay. So it's actually kind of a split. Wow. We literally range bet here. We never check this turn, which is kind of crazy, but sort of makes sense. And we split between jam and small bet. That's really interesting. So these low boards definitely so good for the big blind that you can see that, yeah, we get to play them pretty aggressively. So this is one where definitely did not find the default good play, but we came out of it without a blunder, so we're good there. We are going to check fold here, so that's nice. That's nice and easy. Deuce 4, we're going to check fold this one as well. We're at 139 decisions now. Let's see if we can get to that 150 mark. Just have to fade a tough spot. Okay, this is a nice one. This is a nice probable check raise. I think we raise small a lot on these king high boards. Okay, mix of small and big raise, that's fine. Definitely like betting here. Just tons of value we can get. This is just a straight value hand at this point. I think 6.6 feels like the best size. There might be some 9.9 here, but it's probably too big. Yeah, 6.6 is good. We're not going to fold this hand. Call it off. All good. So that one worked out fine. Now we've got 6 more decisions. All right, so 6 more decisions to fade a blunder. Okay, this is a nice easy check fold. So that's good. Now we've got 4 more decisions. Okay, we flop top pair again with king queen. Okay, so now we got 3 decisions. We got to fade a blunder. I think pot is probably good here because I think this is a spot where a lot of our value is going to want to go geometric and just kind of get it in. Let's go pot. Yeah, okay. We got that one right. All right, this is probably going to be the last hand. King 7 on 766. 148 decisions in. This is a clear check, I think. No betting on this flop, no donking. All right, so we just have to we just have to not blunder this turn. Question is this hand, or does our range want to use a bigger size here, first of all? And I think the answer is probably yes, because we're up against a range that includes so much ace high. So I think I'm probably going to go with the 5.5 because I think this hand is strong enough to do that. So let's go with that. Oh, 3% mistake. That's our biggest mistake so far. So not quite a blunder, but it is a mistake. Wow. If we're not betting, if that size is a big mistake, I expect maybe we want to go check here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, high frequency check and then a little bit of both other sizes. So we do use some of the more polar size here, just not very much. We prefer to bet with a 6 or a bluff there. We don't really use the big size with a 7 very often. It goes check, check again. So now I think queen is not a great river for us. We might block. We might bet the 4.1. We probably don't check very much. I think I'm going to go 4.1. Oh, 1% mistake. Okay. 1.7 maybe? Yeah, okay. So it's a small bet. All right. Well, we did okay there. We did okay on that last one. So 153 decisions in that session. 11 EV mistakes. EV loss of 0.07%. Pretty happy with that. It's kind of tough to do that much better than that, I think, honestly. Like, I would have been pretty surprised if I had managed to, like, I honestly did not expect myself to go 150 decisions with no blunders. I mean, at some point, maybe I'll do like a stream where it's like, stream until you make a blunder, you know, like how many decisions can I go without a blunder? But that, you know, that might be too much of a challenge. It could be over super quickly, or it could be over, you know, it could take hours. We'll see. But yeah, we didn't make any blunders. I'm super happy with that. This is a spot that I did not, last time messed me up. Yeah, it did mess me up a little bit. That's for sure. But yeah, this is, I did not expect to do this well. So that was nice. I thought this was going to be much more of a leak for me than it ended up being, which is always nice to see. So I appreciate you guys for joining me. Thank you for being here. We're going to go through obviously some more spots going forward and try to test out some different areas where we think maybe I might be punting, but hopefully we won't find too much wrong. I will probably I'm trying to think of what some other spots would be. If you guys have suggestions of what spots you'd like to see, let me know. A lot of you have me on Discord. Just drop me a message. You can also drop a comment on the video of this, the replay. So one way or another, we will be back again next week. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you, Seth. Appreciate the kind words. And I will see all you guys soon. And of course, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, all of that good stuff. I'll be back soon with some more content, and I'm going to keep trying to fill this backlog of edited or of coaching sessions that I'm going to edit and upload. I promise, guys, I am going to try to fill this backlog. So appreciate you all for being here. Thanks, everybody. Good luck. I'll see you soon. Bye.